Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Major General William Butch Graham, the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, welcome to the Northwestern Division's Change of Command ceremony. This morning, we bid farewell to the outgoing commander, Brigadier General Geoff Van Epps, and welcome our incoming commander, Brigadier General Bill Hannan. At this time, we would like to recognize some of our distinguished guests who have joined us today. Please hold your applause until all the introductions have been completed. From Brigadier General Van Epps' family, his wife Erica, their children Ryan and Jackson Van Epps. His parents, Colonel Retired Jim and Jane Van Epps. From Brigadier General Hannan's family, his wife, Colonel Sally Hannan, and their children, Caroline, Billy, and Elliot Rose Hannan. From our veterans community, Major General Retired Kent Savre and his wife, Mary Beth. Brigadier General Retired Pete Helmlinger. Representing our tribal partners, Shannon Wheeler, Chairman of the Nez Perce Tribe. Commissioners Corrine Sams and Ron Supa from the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission. And our many important and valued partners and tribal leaders from across the Pacific Northwest and Missouri River Basin. Commanders, friends, colleagues, and family, welcome. From time immemorial, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over an enemy, to honor their heroes, to celebrate special occasions, or to pay homage to their fallen comrades. These ceremonies add color and pageantry to military life. In the United States, the foundation of our present ceremonies was laid by the Continental Army. Today's ceremony is derived from our Army's first manual of ceremonies, the Blue Book, written by General von Steuben. The ceremony that you are about to see includes the arrival of the official party, presentation of honors, honors to the nation, the change of command, remarks, and the conclusion. The 234th Army Band, conducted by First Sergeant Jesus Cruz, is providing the music for today's ceremony. We hope you enjoy this historic event. On behalf of the soldiers, civilians, and families of the Northwestern Division, Ms. Wendy Capley is presenting Mrs. Erica Van Epps a bouquet of red roses. The presentation of a bouquet of roses has long been a tradition of the change of command ceremony. Red is the color of the heart and reflects the loving concern that Mrs. Van Epps has shown to the division over the past years. The roses are in full bloom to symbolize the beauty and fulfillment of her time with us as First Lady of the division. Mrs. Jane Van Epps, mother of Brigadier General Geoff Van Epps, receives a bouquet of flowers in appreciation of her timeless support. Miss Leisha Layson is now presenting a bouquet of yellow roses to Colonel Sally Hannan to welcome her and the Hannan family to the organization. Yellow represents the color of a new friendship and a warm welcome to our division. Now please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of honors, our national anthem, and the invocation given by General Van Epps' father and former North Central Division Commander, Colonel Retired Jim Van Epps. Major General Graham has deferred honors to Brigadier General Van Epps.
Let's bow our heads, please. Almighty Father, in this beautiful setting, again, we are reminded that this is the day that you have made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And so we do thank you, and we rejoice, dear Lord, for this day and for all the blessings you bestowed on us. We're gathered at this special ceremony to witness the change in leadership, the change of command of the Northwestern Division of the United States Army Corps of Engineers between Jeffrey R. Van Epps, Brigadier General, and Brigadier General William C. Hannan. First, we thank you for the blessings of leadership, judgment, professionalism, and interpersonal skills with which you've endowed General Van Epps that have enabled him to carry out his responsibilities as commander and division engineer over these past 3 years. We also thank you for the strength and comfort brought to him by his family, his wife Erica, and children Ryan, Jackson, and Addison. As he moves to his next assignment as Deputy Commanding General of 3 Corps, please watch over him, give him those same attributes, plus the wisdom and strength necessary to carry out his responsibilities and take care of 3 Corps soldiers. We welcome Brigadier General Hannan, a proven leader to Northwestern Division, and ask that you bless him with the strength and necessary skills he'll need to lead the division. And we also welcome his family, his wife Sally, and children Caroline, Billy, and Elliot, and ask that they too give him the strength and the comfort to lead this great division. We pray that their time in the great Northwest will be rewarding and enjoyable for the whole family. Last, Almighty Father, we ask that you bless the men and women of the Northwestern Division who carry out the awesome responsibilities for managing the water resources and military programs in this most beautiful and important part of our country. We pray that you have been pleased with the efforts of General Van Epps and will enable General Hannan to be successful in his work. And in conclusion, we ask and we exclaim, God bless America.
Thank you, Colonel Van Epps. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The colors that are posted symbolize the very soul of our nation, the United States Army and the Northwestern Division. They record the glories of the past, stand as guardian over the present, and inspire in soldiers and civilians the loyalty, duty, and courage to achieve victory in the future. In the past, colors served as a rallying point for soldiers during battle. The change of command is a simple, traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the organizational colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its members. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. Throughout history, commanders ensured their unit flags were carried by one of their most trusted officers. Today, Mr. Eric Hansen, Northwestern Division's Director of Regional Business, will fulfill this honored role. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander. Out of reverence toward their colors, commanders hold the colors over their hearts as they are passed. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of the organization the commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander, and with this also passes the loyalty of the workforce. Attention to orders. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, the undersigned assumes command of the Northwestern Division, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, effective 28 June 2024. Signed, William C. Hannan, Jr., Brigadier General, U.S. Army, commanding. Mr. Hansen will now present the division colors to the departing commander, Brigadier General Van Epps, for the last time. Brigadier General Van Epps will then pass the colors to Major General Graham, thereby relinquishing his responsibility and authority. Major General Graham will in turn pass the colors to the new division commander, Brigadier General Hannan, charging him with the same responsibility and authority. Mr. Hansen will then accept the colors from Brigadier General Hannan, solidifying the bond between the Corps' military leadership and its workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, Major General William Butch Graham, the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Good morning. So I was thinking when we do this change of commands, somebody puts an awful lot of work together to make the place look good, and usually it's a conference room, and I'm just like, how hard it must have been for the team here to make sure that Intrepid Bonneville looks as great as it did. So I know there's probably a whole bunch of them listening, but for all the folks who did all the work, to make this amazing facility look even more amazing. Big round of applause for that team. Okay. What a spectacular morning. I had the great fortune to preside over the Transatlantic Division change of command last week, and I was telling Bill's kids, say, hey, the Northwest is an awesome place, particularly in the summertime, because you get bluebird weather, the mountains are out, and it's just spectacular. So, Geoff, I'm not sure how you arranged this amazing weather, but well done, well done. Before we start talking about the generals, I'd like to first start talking about the division. General Spellman would absolutely love to be here to be the one talking about the division, because this place is near and dear to his heart as a previous division commander. But we all have bosses, even three-star generals, and his boss called him on Monday and said, hey, I'd like to see you on Friday. So then I got a call that said, whatever you were doing on Friday, you're doing something different. But it's my absolute honor to be here today with the mighty Northwestern Division. The Northwestern Division, or NWD for short, has a budget of almost $3.5 billion and a workforce of 5,600 absolute world-class professionals. NWD is spread across 14 states, covers 2,000 miles, and supports 109 sovereign tribal nations within its geographic area of support. And to some of their representatives, thank you very much for being here today. Two of the country's longest rivers, the Missouri. Come on, Rob, where's the Missouri? All right, that was kind of weak. And the mighty Columbia. It's a partisan crowd, all within its boundaries. The division's mission encompasses flood risk management, navigation, hydropower, aquatic ecosystem restoration, water supply, recreation, disaster response. I could keep going, but we'll stop there. NWD also manages almost 2 million acres of military real estate across 34 DoD installations. As we've learned, Geoff, as we've learned, Bill, it all begins and ends with real estate. So to the NWD team that's here, we're going to have a little bit of participation. So for the NWD team, that if you've served 10 years or longer, stand up. Okay, all right, we got some late folks out here. No, keep standing, keep standing. Danny, keep standing. 10 years or longer, okay. If you're 20 years or longer, keep standing. That's a pretty sizable crowd. 30 years or longer, keep standing. That's amazing. Anybody over 40 years? Okay. There we go. Big round of applause for them all. All right. If people don't stay 30, 40 years in an organization that they don't love and that doesn't treat them well. So if you're blessed in this world, you get to work hard at rewarding work, and it's clear that the amazing members of the Northwest Division do that day in and day out, or all those people standing up wouldn't be here. So our thanks, General Spellman's thanks, the nation's thanks, go out to you all and all the people you represent. So I first met General Van Epps in Kabul, Afghanistan, in the summer of, I think it was 2017. He was serving as a staff engineer for the NATO forces in Afghanistan, and I was dumb enough, I was in New York City at the time, and I was dumb enough to answer the phone on a Sunday from my boss. Never answer the phone on a Sunday from your boss, because there's nothing good at the end of that phone call. And my boss at that time said, hey, we've got some challenges with force protection in Afghanistan, and we need somebody to go. And I was thinking, okay, 4 months from now, a year from now, I need you there by Friday. So that Friday I was in Afghanistan, and I had the good fortune to run across Geoff Van Epps. learning how to successfully deliver projects within a framework that all 30, I think it was 30 nations back at those days, now it's 32, NATO member states agree to is no small task. Getting 2 groups to agree to anything is no small task. To get 30 of them to agree to something is really, really hard. Geoff, with his trademark blend of intellect, engagement, and perseverance, he made it look easy. I was consistently amazed at what he was able to accomplish. Geoff took command here of the Northwest Division, as you heard, in July of 2021, and since then, Geoff and his far-flung division have been very busy. Let me give you a few examples. The NW team was responsible for improvements to many key ports and waterways in the Pacific Northwest. In December, NWD signed design agreements for the Seattle Navigation Improvement Project and the Tacoma Harbor Navigation Improvement Projects. These projects are part of a comprehensive modernization initiative for the Northwest Seaport Alliance that began nearly a decade ago. The execution of these design agreements marked an absolute critical milestone for the region, allowing it to remain globally competitive. And we see the trains going past here with all those containers. Those are heading to those ports. Geoff was also the lead USACE interface with U.S. Northern Command. Brian, we're glad to have you here today. Our LNO to Northcom. Geoff's team provided contingency planning and exercise support to integrate engineer capabilities in our nation's homeland defense plans. Plans that we hope are never used, but we want to make sure that we're ready for. Switching gears a bit, within NWD's jurisdiction are also 80 water storage and flood risk management reservoir projects. In those plants are 29 hydropower plants like the one behind us that help support over 1,000 miles of navigable channels. Geoff was charged with management of these hydroelectric facilities, which produce 75% of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers hydropower production. Geoff and his team also ensured year-round navigation through those over 1,200 miles of inland waterways, and those waterways carried an astounding $35 billion in commerce through the Pacific Northwest and the Midwestern states. Along with Geoff's duties to provide reliable navigation and stable hydropower, he was instrumental in the continued negotiations on the future of water management in the Columbia River. As a U.S. entity member to the Columbia River Treaty with Canada, Geoff was a principal participant in support of the State Department's ongoing negotiations to manage flood risks and regulate water flow between Canada and the U.S., the importance of which can't be overstated to the folks that live out here. Capitalizing on his expertise in water management, Geoff was active with the Mississippi River Commission. During his 3 years in the division, Geoff conducted several inspections along the Mississippi River and its tributaries, which include the Missouri River, holding public hearings across multiple states to understand firsthand the public's concerns on how the Corps of Engineers is managing that basin. Fully embracing input from the 109 Native American tribes in the division's area of responsibility, Geoff was closely involved in the Missouri River Basin Interagency Roundtable, a 70-member federal, state, tribal, and stakeholder chartered institution. He was equally involved with the Missouri River Recovery Implementation Committee, a federal interagency organization to improve ecosystem management. And Erica, you can kind of understand why he hasn't been home all that much. Geoff proactively engaged with all partners to streamline communications on complex issues such as tribal access to ancient and accustomed fishing rights, locations, and dam operation changes to improve the viability of endangered species like salmon. Under his leadership, the NWD team also partnered with multiple federal agencies to manage a nearly $800 million environmental restoration program, a program that grew to twice the size of when Geoff took command. He also managed an exponential increase in the work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, executing more than $700 million worth of major renovations and new construction for VA hospitals across multiple Midwestern states and Northwest states. Finally, to deliver this huge program, Geoff invested in ambitious hiring initiatives and formal training programs. He started innovative strategies to attract talent in an increasingly competitive job market, pushing the limits. Geoff's been pushing the limits of recruiting and retention incentives and other quality of life initiatives to make sure that NWD can hire and retain the best employees to execute the division's critical missions. As a result of all that effort, NWD's 2023 Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey, which is where we survey the workforce to see how we're doing, that resulted in the division and all of its districts being ranked as a best place to work, an amazing achievement which certainly deserves a round of applause from everybody. As we know, no one accomplishes anything in this world alone. There's always essential people who help us along that journey. So I want to recognize a special group of people that have helped Geoff, particularly his wife, Erica. Geoff has been married to Erica for 21 years. She's an elementary school teacher, and according to Geoff, she's also the love of his life. So I got to ask Geoff, your first date, let me preface this a little bit. You'll find out here in a minute. Because you can't get any worse than Bill. So let me just... So where was your first date?
So I was a senior in high school. I took her to see the movie Home Alone in the theater.
Why I asked that question is we did the Transatlantic Division change of command yesterday, and we kind of asked Bill, hey, where was your first date with Sally? He said, Applebee's. Now, some of you are laughing, but I got to follow with, where in the country did you take Sally to Applebee's? And he said, Rolla, Missouri, near Fort Leonard Wood. And for all of us who have been there, back in some odd years ago, Applebee's was probably at the very top. That was probably kind of high end as it gets. Home Alone. Good deal. The Van Epps have 3 teenagers, twins Jackson and Ryan, who are here with us today. All right, so can I quiz you two? Who's older? Who's taller? For the big one, because you just finished your freshman year in college, right? Sophomore year in college. Who has the better GPA? All right. And you've also got their daughter Addison, who's a rising senior in college next year. So big round of applause for the Van Epps family. So I got to call out Geoff's parents, in addition to that amazing introduction that you gave. Geoff would call me up every once in a while saying, hey, I got to go on leave. And I'm thinking, okay, you might go up to Seattle or maybe going down to LA. No. Geoff's going on a safari in South Africa, or he's going on 2 weeks in Turkey on these amazing vacations. And I said, Geoff, man, they must pay one-stars a lot more than they certainly paid me. And he said, no, I spend some time with my parents, and we're going on all these amazing adventures. And so I've been asking Geoff for 2 years to kind of maybe be adopted, if possible, for the next trip. But to the entire Van Epps family, we want to thank you all for the amazing support that you gave Geoff. He could not have done what he was able to do out here. He could not have poured his heart and soul into this organization without the support from all of you. So big round of applause for the Van Epps family. Geoff, you've done an absolutely outstanding job of your time here. You have indeed safely delivered an impressive array of quality projects on schedule within budget. You're turning over to Brigadier Hannan a division that's better than you found it. And then leadership business, that's as good as it gets. Well done. We wish you well as you transition to your next assignment as the Deputy Commanding General for 3 Corps at Fort Cavazos in the Army. The Phantom Corps is lucky to have you. So the warfighting part of the Army has 4 corps. That's it. 4 corps. There's 1 corps that's focused on Europe, that's 5th Corps. There's 1 corps that's focused on the Pacific, that's 1st Corps up at JBLM. There's a light corps in 18th Airborne Corps that can get anywhere in the world really fast. And then there's the hammer, the heavy corps, 3 Corps down at Fort Hood. And if you think of the Army, you think of tanks and lots of soldiers doing hard things, that's 3 Corps. And that's where Geoff's going. Geoff, you're the right leader to take that huge responsibility, and we're excited to see where you're going to take the mighty Phantom team. So the Northwest Division is fortunate that as one great leader departs, another great leader arrives. Even better, Brigadier General Bill Hannan is certainly no stranger to the Northwest Division. Bill hasn't been gone all that long, as he commanded the Kansas City District from 2019 to 2021. I think I first met Bill in a small boat, a small skiff, bouncing in the middle of the Missouri River back in the fall of 2000. He showed me the ongoing work to repair the levees and I got to get this right, the bank stabilization and navigation program. Did I get that right? Close? Was that better than the DeFleury piece that Rob gave? Okay. Following the historic destruction in the 2019 floods, sitting in that small boat in the middle of that big river, it quickly became apparent that Bill was an exceptional leader. He understood deeply the significant impact that that flood had on the local communities. He had a thorough grasp of the magnitude of the recovery tasks that the district faced. And he had a well-thought-out plan to deliver on those recovery tasks with a palpable sense of urgency. Over time, as I got to know Bill and the Kansas City District better, it became clear that this commitment to delivery, this commitment to excellence, went well beyond the flood recovery mission. It permeated throughout the entire district. That's great leadership in action. Most recently, from August of 22 until just last week, Bill commanded the Transatlantic Division in Winchester, Virginia. The Transatlantic Division punches way, way beyond its weight class, delivering a huge $6.5 billion program in 21 countries across the U.S. Central Command's area of responsibility. I think Bill has platinum status on just about every airline in the country, as he spent a great deal of time in airplanes, in airports and in airplanes, getting to a distant theater, because he knew how important it was to get a boots-on-the-ground understanding of project delivery. This is what you'd expect from a leader of Bill's caliber. Now, he might not have to spend as much time in airports, because there's an airplane around here somewhere, isn't there, Geoff? Okay. Bill's smiling now, yeah. Like Geoff, Bill didn't do all of this on his own either. He had a deep help from many, many groups, but none was more instrumental to his success than his family. As a West Point graduate and active duty soldier herself, Bill's wife, Colonel Sally Hannan, is used to these military moves and multiple deployments. She currently works as the Senior Army Advisor for the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation. And if you don't know what that is in the receiving line, you can hit her up. Bill and Sally have 3 children. They've got a daughter, Carolyn, who's a rising senior in high school. Yeah, so Carolyn's starting a new high school. Their son, Billy, is in the 8th grade, and then their daughter, Elliot Rose, is a 9th grader. Welcome to all of you to the amazing Pacific Northwest. Big round of applause, please, for the Hannan family. Welcome. Bill, with your district experience commanding Kansas City and your division experience commanding the Transatlantic Division, you are absolutely the right leader at the right time to command this incredibly busy and important organization. So to wrap this up, the colors are passed, and once again under the careful stewardship of Mr. Eric Hansen. The Northwest Division stands ready to continue its phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal history of service to the nation in this region. Essay ons, building strong, be all that you can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander, Brigadier General Geoff Van Epps.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, good morning. And thank you, General Graham. That's as good of a place to start these remarks as any. General Graham, thank you for those gracious words, for the mentorship and the leadership you've afforded me over the past 1,072 days that I've been in this job. And yes, I've been counting, because every day in NWD is a privilege, a chance to uphold the sacred responsibility of commanding a division now 5,900 strong. A few soldiers, but mostly incredibly talented civilians who work to support the hundreds of communities here in the region, to strengthen the national defense, and to solve our nation's most difficult technical challenges. When I took command 3 short years ago, I mentioned briefly that I'm a degreed and licensed engineer, and that I'd waited my entire career, 26 years at that point, to have a chance to join USACE, an Army engineer's equivalent of getting a call up to the big leagues. And I tell you, it's been worth the wait. My 3 seasons playing with the varsity here have been incredibly rewarding. And while there's no way to do justice to the team's accomplishments in the few minutes that I have allotted for these remarks, I do want to spend my time talking about my teammates, the everyday all-stars of Northwestern Division who make up this team and with whom I've had the privilege to serve here. This ceremony is a great example. General Graham already hit on it. Think for a moment of the combined effort required to pull together a change of command as well executed as this one. You've got Christina Austin Smith from our legal shop, very capably narrating again this time. Our regional business director, Eric Hansen, who's handled the division colors and more division changes of command than most uniformed command sergeants major. So many changes of command that we probably owe him a uniform with a set of chevrons on the sleeve. But what you don't see, what's invisible, is the support from our admin professionals and security professionals, public affairs, contracting, our logisticians who've all pitched in here as they do across the division everywhere, every day without much fanfare. And when it's going right, with almost no visibility. They just keep things moving. And whichever one of them ordered up this phenomenal weather, wow, couldn't have been better. And this entire ceremony was orchestrated by our division executive officer, Judy Hutchings, who I probably just annoyed for drawing attention to her. But how about joining me in a round of applause for those who just keep things moving and who brought this ceremony to life? And what about the 234th Army Band from the Oregon National Guard? Thanks again, for joining us to add a dose of pomp and circumstance to our ceremony. Thanks for showing them some appreciation as well. And then if you'll take a quick look over to the right and to the left, you'll see iconic Bonneville Dam, one of the Corps of Engineers' most recognizable pieces of infrastructure. This magnificent edifice is over 80 years old and is a shining example of the Corps' Civil Works mission, bringing together navigation, hydropower, recreation, water quality benefits, and fish passage in a single project. And to create this landmark, just like every other project, large or small, that the Northwestern Division undertakes, it requires a team of everyday all-stars to bring it to life. World-class talent, engineers, surveyors, draftsmen, real estate specialists and contracting professionals and budget and programming experts, construction and quality assurance reps, project managers. We had them all here in 1934 when construction started. And then, once this was built, we placed it in the capable hands of the operators and maintainers, the mechanics, electricians, and other trades and crafts, and also our rangers and biologists and other natural resource managers who steward this nationally strategic infrastructure and the land and water around it, which the nation has entrusted to our care. That same world-class talent is still at the center of how we execute not just civil works, but also military construction and our international and interagency support, our regulatory program, and our environmental projects. And we've added other types of all-star talent to Northwestern Division since that time as the Corps' mission has evolved and expanded. All kinds of environmental expertise since legislation created the need, or more recently those skilled in developing nature-based solutions as alternatives to traditional concrete and steel infrastructure. And in later years, as computers and the internet and other forms of automation emerged, we've added technical experts in computer-aided drafting, IT, remotely piloted vehicles, or those who wrangle and put to work the vast amounts of data that our enterprise generates. Our ability to attract, develop, and employ top-tier talent remains as important as ever. But what ties us all together across disciplines and across generations here in Northwestern Division, what makes this an all-star roster?
Believe it or not, it's not the talent, although that's been on full display everywhere I've gone across our vast footprint over the past 3 years. No, what we all have in common is the spirit of service, the drive to do good for others, to benefit our neighbors and communities across the region. And it has been an incredible privilege to be a part of that, to serve with you in NWD over the past 3 years. And it's not just us, it would be out of bounds for me to not recognize our partners from the federal family with whom we work so closely, doing our absolute best every day to show our fellow citizens what good government looks like. And I do want to make a point to recognize our tribal leaders who are in the audience today. You also serve through the leadership you provide your tribal nations. And I'm humbled that you've chosen to join us this morning and represent your tribes at our ceremony. I'm proud of the work we've done with you recently, and I'm optimistic that we continue to move in the direction of better living up to our treaty and trust responsibilities than ever before. Thank you for your partnership and for holding us accountable when we need it. And just a final couple of thank yous to wrap things up. I want to thank all the supervisors across Northwestern Division who've shouldered an incredible burden, initially when I got here dealing with COVID, more recently the demands of a record program, growing the workforce, developing fresh talent. All of you have done this with inspiring professionalism and dedication, and again, exemplary service. Thanks to the senior civilians in our districts, our DPMs, who provide continuity and leadership while owning execution of the program down where the rubber meets the road. Thank you to the remarkably talented senior executives, Eric Hansen and Beth Coffey, who have also provided continuity and leadership from the division level, but at the same time are change agents who are forcing NWD to adapt where it is needed. And thanks to the division's colonels, my deputies, and all the district commanders with whom I've had the privilege to serve here in NWD. I have learned far more from you than you realize, and I'm a far better officer for having experienced your leadership. And lastly, just some thanks for the everyday all-stars in my own home for making all of this fun and for keeping me humble. Jackson and Ryan, I can't wait to endure your 1.5-star reviews of this speech in the car on the way home. And you can pass on to your little sister what a great performance she missed while she's down at Oregon State this week. Mom and Dad, thanks for flying all the way out here for this, but this is no surprise within the family. You never miss a thing that matters in our lives. We'll have to talk later about whether General Graham is worthy of adoption. That's a different story. Anyway, we're so lucky to have you. Thanks so much. And Erica, on to the next adventure. Here we go again. I couldn't do any of this without you. Thank you. All right, now it's time for me to gracefully exit and let General Hannan take the stage. Bill, you've replaced me before, and I can't tell you how comfortable I am leaving this all-star team in your care. You have so much exciting, meaningful work ahead of you. You can make a real difference in hundreds of communities across the division footprint. I know you're going to crush it as the NWD commander, and you and Sally and the kids are going to love it here just as much as the Van Epps have. All the best to you and your family. All the best to all of you in the audience. Thank you for the privilege of serving with you. Essayons.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Northwestern Division, Brigadier General Bill Hannan.
Wow. First, I just am amazed, to come out at a day like this scenery, this iconic structure behind us. I'm just in awe. So first, I just want to start by just thanking all the distinguished visitors and guests that were mentioned today. You really make this ceremony special. General Spellman, General Carlton, Sergeant Major Gaelic, but sir, especially you, General Graham, thanks for presiding over today, and really thanks all for the trust and confidence to command this mighty division. I look forward to this opportunity, and I will do my absolute best serving the people and partners of this awesome division. I also have to just pause and thank everybody that had a part in today's ceremony, but also a part in bringing me on as your commander. It's been an awesome week, and I've already learned a ton in transition here, and also for the fabulous band. So let's just do one more round of applause for the amazing people that had a part in the ceremony. Next, I just have to recognize a few folks that have enabled me in my career or that traveled out here today that have supported me along the way. First, just a couple that aren't here, but it's worthy of mention. My father, a Vietnam veteran and state police officer, he's really what started me in teaching me about what service is all about. So I owe a lot to him. And then to Sally's parents, Ness and Sandy, who will watch this ceremony later, they've also done just a tremendous amount for our family over the years and also have a strong tradition of service. Next, to my family, Sally and our kiddos, Caroline, Billy, and Elliot Rose, thanks for all you have done supporting me. For Sally, she's been a project manager, deputy district commander in the USACE, best engineer officer I know. So I just want you all to know that you can count on her continuing to counsel me on how to be a good division commander. But on a serious note, she really is the most selfless person I know. So thanks, Sally, for everything you've done for me and for our family. General Retired Sabre and Mary Beth, thanks for your leadership and guidance, but really thanks for being great role models to us and really our family at Fort Leonard Wood. That was an amazing time that we had an opportunity to serve together, and we all just learned so much from your example. General Retired Hemlinger, I know Claudia's not here today, but thanks for all you did mentoring me when I was in Kansas City District, and I owe so much to you to maybe giving me that final little push to have this opportunity to really stand up here today. So thank you very much. Doug Tormson is here. His wife couldn't be here, Kate, but we've served with them several times. Our first touch in USACE was under his leadership in Honolulu District, and once again been great mentors and just friends to Sally and I over the years, and I had the great opportunity to replace him in Kansas City District as well. So I learned a tremendous amount. Thanks for traveling out here today. So really, one other set, Mr. Brian Smith and Larry Essayons Myers, and sir, you mentioned service. I think Larry, you actually have 50 years of federal service, isn't that right? Yeah. So let's give another round of applause to that amount of service. But really, Brian and Larry were really the ones that taught me what a commander is supposed to be in USACE. So I owe a lot to them in the Kansas City District. So I really appreciate that. And finally, I just want to say thanks to many teammates, civilian soldiers, NCOs, and officers, but especially to some of the former district commanders that are here today that I had an opportunity to serve with, and all my fellow division commanders right now. They've all made me a much better leader. And finally, I have to thank Geoff and Erica. This is the second time I've had the opportunity to take over for Geoff. The first was as Chief of Staff of the mighty engineer school at Fort Leonard Wood. So I know what I'm in for. I'm taking over a great organization in a great spot that I just can continue to make better. But I also want to thank from the family perspective, Erica. Thanks for all the advice, and we can thank her for finding the house that we found here in the area. So, but really, from last time we were backdoor neighbors till now, just thanks for all your support, especially in the transition coming into this new position. And as I finish up talking today, I just want to end with a few great words, and Geoff talked about them. It's the mighty Northwestern Division, the people and the partners in this region, federal, state, tribal, industry, others that we have such a strong connection with that we really couldn't complete our mission without. I've had the opportunity to serve in this division, and I've seen the great work that this division does, and without a doubt, it's the amazing efforts of the people and our partners of this mighty division that enable its success. So for our amazing employees and our amazing partners, both at the district, the division, and the region, for all of our partners, I'm humbled at the opportunity to serve as your commander. You'll get my best. I'll work hard every day to enable your success and our success. So thanks again for this opportunity and for everyone attending today. Essayons, building strong, be all you can be.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Engineer and Army songs presented by the 234th Army Band, and remain standing for the departure of the official party. The words to the songs are located in your programs.